of November last year, November 2020. And I told myself, I said, the next thing I need to do for myself is to increase my knowledge bank. Like Prof will always say, we are still learning. We learn every day. We learn every day. We are still learning. So we need to learn the new things that are coming on. So I said to myself, wow, there are so many things I need to catch up with. There are so many things, truly, I started talking to myself that I need to catch up with so many things. And the only way I can help myself is to increase and fill in my knowledge bank. I took that decision in November, and I said, I wouldn't want to wait until January before I start doing that. And I need to start doing it now. And I'm happy with the information that I am already gathering. And I've started practicing some of them, I would say. And I'm going to be sharing with you an information that may seem old, but it will give you an idea of what I'm talking about today, because this industry, you need this knowledge, you need this information, you need to know it, you need to allow it to sink in so that it can help you make the right decision. Thank God we are in the right direction. We are in the right direction. But so many people who are successful, even those ones that are upcoming, they will tell you categorically and boldly that we are in the right direction. First, you're in the multi-level marketing industry. Secondly, you are in phytoscience. When I went for a training, an international training, there were about 40,000 people in that training. It was a virtual training. And we were kept in a room of excited individuals, network marketers, And then at the end of the training, this was what I observed. And that's why I'm taking this knowledge thing very, very serious. At the end of the training, I found out that I and some other train ambassadors that were with us together in that training discovered that we are better off in our company. We are better off in the compensation plan we have. We are better off in this top-notch product. Okay? Now there's something that we need to be better off. Okay? And that is increasing our knowledge bank, making ourselves relevant, making ourselves important, because the only variable, okay, for you excelling is you. The only variable is you. So who are you? What do you stand for? What do you have? What can you offer? A company can offer this, that. You yourself, what can you bring forth? What can you offer? Okay, because they will first of all buy you before they buy the company, the compensation plan, and the products. Because we find out exciting people. Sorry, I'm not trying to downplay any company. Some companies are just only into cosmetics. And there are six-figure income earners. They have gone far. They're so excited. They radiate so many, attractions. They magnetize you with so many things. We started digging deep to find out what is different from they themselves and us. We found out that it is personal development, training. So if you don't have that as a goal for yourself this year, 2021, I don't want you to be cut off in 2022. That is why I'm giving a sincere advice that we should please try and upload and update ourselves with information. We have lots of information about the product. We have lots of information about the industry. We have lots of information about the company, the compensation plan, okay? We need to have a lot of information that will make us relevant, not to ourselves alone, because I know so many people are in this industry because they love helping people. So many people are in this industry because they love the togetherness. They love to build symbiotic relationship, healthy relationship. So many people are in this industry because they want financial gain. So many people are in this industry, in this industry because they want to have time freedom. There are a lot of things that this industry can offer you. Okay? Now, if you are looking for all of this, what have you got to offer? What have you got to offer? The only way, trust me, you can do that is to learn and unlearn. Okay? most of all these things that we were taught in school are not all we need in network marketing. We need more. And there are so many things that are unveiling themselves. So less I talk much about how I feel, like what I want you to do. I would like to just show you the big picture, what I want to share with you. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. And if you can hear me, please, can I see some emoji? If you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I hope I'm communicating. If you feel I'm communicating, if you feel I'm actually hitting the button, please, can you go to the chat and say, yes, yes, yes. I want to see as many yes as possible. This is not the time you just listen. You need to take action. You need to charge yourself, okay? You need to decide. You need to let people know what you want to achieve. There's something I learned recently, okay? Telling people what you want to achieve, okay, it's not bad at all. You know, this our African tradition that when you tell somebody you want to travel to so and so place, okay, it look as though it may not happen. It may not happen. Okay, it will happen. If you tell somebody, I want to change my location to a better place. I'm working towards it and I'm going to do it. I'll give myself time. You're talking to somebody who believes in you, who wants the best in you, kind of like a compatibility partner, someone like a mentor or something like that. If you tell that person what you want to achieve, do you know what you have done for yourself? You have given yourself reason to run to make sure you achieve that, because you don't want to shame yourself. You don't want to you don't want to disgrace. You don't want anybody to feel that you are good for nothing. You don't want anybody to feel that you are the one that talk and don't do. And guess what? If you don't tell somebody, if you don't rely on somebody to checkmate you, you end up giving yourself so much things to do, and you're not able to do that thing, or probably do even 20%, which is not good. Like my mentor would say, stop playing small. Stop playing small. This year, try to play big. Try to play big, because that is the way you are created. I just heard something on an audio that my husband was listening to, not quite some few minutes ago. It says I can't remember word for word what it says. You should decide to do something and take that bold step. And he also said that the only deficiency or setback is your mindset, or disability rather, is your mindset. Somebody who probably doesn't have one hand, you could call that person a disabled, right? Or probably somebody who is on a wheelchair, or probably using one or two things to support him or her mobility. You will say that person is challenged, right? Or probably disabled. The most disability, trust me, is your mindset. If you agree with what I'm saying, just say yes. Just say yes on that chat. Tell yourself yes. Now, what do you do with your mindset? What do you do with your mindset is very, very key. Now, I go straight to my presentation, okay? And it's called the cash flow quadrant. We may have been seeing some pictures that talks about the cash flow. I can see a lot of yes. I appreciate everyone that have been doing this. I can see 9 yeses. Thank you very much. It shows that you are giving a positive affirmation. Okay, because this year is the time we have to be positive. It's not the time you have to just watch people do things or see those things and not do anything about it. The world needs relevant personalities, and you are one of them. So you have to make yourself to be part of it by doing it. Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Wow, awesome. You guys are giving me energy. You're giving me energy. Oh, let me give you. Oh, I wish I could give you my love reaction, but the emoji is not connected here. Please, Prof. Oh, thank you very much, Prof, for that love reaction. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I love that. Yeah, that is how I feel today. I can see a lot of, oh my God, you guys are awesome. I give you my love. Thank you. So many, over 24. You can see I'm watching over you. I'm your compatibility partner. Okay. All right. I'm your mentor. I'm your mentor for this training today. I love that. Thank you so much. It shows that we are all together. Now, the cash flow quadrant is designed by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, I'm presenting a simplified mode. The different ways you can actually present this. The most important thing is how you understand this. You must understand it in a way that is in conformity, with your belief and your why in this industry. I want to believe that everybody who's probably taking this training today is not just a smart user, but want to go beyond by probably getting a financial freedom, or also helping other people do the same, or also increasing their knowledge bank, personal development, skills, and all. Okay, so moving forward, this is the guy. I need to give him credits. I need to give him kudos. For some of us who probably may have heard my story, I always talk about this man first because it was one thing that a phrase in one of his books called The Business of the 21st Century that I read that made me to take this bold step. Okay, it wasn't easy for me, but I thank God I took that bold step, and this is where I am today. It's a total difference from how when I started this business. Okay, now so this is a brief autobiography. I mean, we should celebrate our mentors. Okay, he was born on April 8th, 1947. For those who are born in April, I know you guys will be flaunting yourself right now. Anyway, right, he's 73 years old, about thereabouts when this slide was created in Hawaii. And then Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the popular book called The Rich Dad Poor Dad, the international runaway bestseller that has held, a top spot on the New York Times best-selling list for over the years. He has been transforming lives and teaching people on economy and finance, basically. Okay, so he's an inventor, he's an entrepreneur, an educator whose perspective on money and investing fly in the face of conventional wisdom. Okay, now we have conventional wisdom. Okay, it's different from that's traditional wisdom, and it's different from the other type of wisdom which he is talking about. Okay, so he has the virtual single he has virtually single-heartedly challenged and changed the way tens of millions around the world think about money. I, for one, am a beneficiary. Okay, and then the advice we have is to go to school, get a good job, save money, get out of debt, increase the long term and adversity. Okay, this kind of advice, he said, it is bad. It is obsolete. It is actually going into extinction now. People are started embracing the new ways of how we view money. Okay, so his advice. This is actually his advice, and you're going to be seeing that in some of the slides. Now, this is a top quiz for you and I. You can see a car, a very flashy car, and a very beautiful home. I call this home, not a house. Okay. Now, to you, what is this? How can you classify these properties below? Are they assets or are they liabilities? I would like you to put your comment on the chat. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to see what we feel about it. Are they assets or are they liabilities? I would like to hear the voice of some persons. If you would want to share your thoughts on what you see, I want you to raise your hand, and our co-hosts would probably unmute you so that you can share your thoughts. Let's learn from you. Anybody whose hand is raised, I would like you to unmute them. Our co-host. Anybody?
Yeah, Favor UK.
Okay, Favor UK.
Oh, yes. Good morning, Softmind, wonderful mentor and teacher and leader. Good morning, the prof. Yes, these pictures here, the car and the house.
Okay.
The car is a liability.
Okay.
It's a liability in the sense that to get a car just for pleasure, like this is like a pleasure card, what we used to call that. It only gives you the pleasure. You drive it in and out. You spend money to fuel it. You spend money to repair it. And so you keep spending money on it, and it's not bringing any money in. Yes, it could say you can use it to go to work, but using it to go to work, you can as well take a public transport that you can spend less in terms of, the expenditure in it. So maybe in some aspect one can say is a profit, in the sense that if it were put on the road as a public transport, to use to make money as a public transport, that could have maybe brought in some assets, some money to you, but it is more of a
you call
liability
it a
than an
luxury.
asset.
You call it a luxury car. Can you use the kind of car for public transportation?
No, you cannot. This particular shape of car, no. So in other words, it is a liability.
Okay, it's a liability. Yes. How many of us in the Zoom right now feels that this car is a liability? If you feel so, say yes, the car is a liability. Yes. Can I see it on the chat? Can I see it on the chat? Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. I really appreciate it. So the house is an asset, right?
Is asset. Yes, okay. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for the privilege. I appreciate
you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. All right, I'm sure we are learning. Now, does anybody have any other any contrary view? Can you unmute yourself?
From ST.
Okay.
ST from UK, so they are both asset and liability. Can we hear from her?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Madam ST from UK.
Can you unmute her?
Yeah, she's unmuted.
Okay. Madam ST, can you share your thoughts, please? Thank you.
Okay, or Mommy Anka, any of them?
Okay, Mommy Anka, we'd love to have her. Thank you. Just because of the time, let's have just.
Hello, trend makers. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Ma. Thank you.
Wonderful training. I believe that both of them are liabilities. The house and the car.
Okay.
Whatsoever doesn't bring in money, especially a stream of income, is considered the liability. Some people may think the house is an asset, but if you put into place, because my father had built houses in times past, the amount of money you put into building that house can never be recouped to the value for which it is, even if you're going to put it to rent. That's my view. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But for certain, the car is definitely a liability.
Please, let's give her some reaction. She has already shared her thoughts. Let's give her some reaction. So if you feel same with Mama Anka, please can you say yes, or give us some emojis. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mama Anka. I really appreciate your thoughts. Now, does anybody feel differently? Anyone who feels differently, can you raise your hand up, please? Thank you.
Okay, Daddy Paul Okeleke.
Daddy Paul. Our Daddy. Please share your thoughts, Daddy.
Because we need to learn from the elders.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Daddy.
Yes, thank you. Good. The car, depending on the use it's put into, can be an asset. We are into network marketing, and you need to move. If your car is used to move from place to place, even to awkward areas that public transport cannot get you, it becomes an asset. Also, with the house is very intelligent, but as it is now, one person cannot occupy the whole. Some part of it may have been, rented out, or you can even use part of it as your office. Now that people are not moving around, you have said, the lecturer has said he is now making his office, his home, the office. So you can use part of the house as an office, in which case it becomes an asset. Because if you have to go and rent that outside, you know how much you will spend. So I think depending on the use you put both of them, both the car and the house, it could be asset, it could be a liability. Thank you.
Wow. Reaction.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Daddy. I really appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and I would love to hear from somebody. I'm gonna pick him. Is Money IQ in the Zoom right now? Money IQ, our Black Diamond.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He is. Yeah, please, if he's not a co-host, make him a co-host or mute him, please. Thank you. I would like to hear. Yes. Money IQ, please, would like to hear your own thoughts. Thank you, sir. Money IQ, are you there? I hope the network is not playing pranks. Hello, Money IQ. Okay, Prof, are you there?
Yes, ma.
Okay, please, let's just wrap it up because of time. I would like you to share your thoughts.
Very good.
Thank you,
Serious
sir.
reaction. This is wonderful. All right, let me come from accounting background. When you draw your balance sheet, the asset, we have the vehicles, the building, they are all what? An asset, irrespective of any area you want to use it for. So when it comes to balance sheet, we have the left side and the right side. The left side, that is where you have the loan, the overdraft, and others. While the right hand side, that is where you have the asset. We have the fixed asset and the current asset. Yeah, under that place, we have the motor vehicles, we have the buildings, irrespective of any building. Because why? That is where you are going to rest your head. At the same time, you can convert it to cash anytime, any day, anywhere. Likewise, your vehicle. It's your mobility. If you are into business, like what Ade rightly said, because you fuel, it does not mean is a liability. What about the money you use to repair yourself? You yourself, are you a liability? The money you use to take care of yourself because you are spending money on yourself doesn't mean you are a liability. You are an asset. Okay, that is my own view. But something, Mama, you are the one that will still tell us the final answer. God bless you.
All right. Please, let's give yourself some reactions. You deserve it. I know so many of us answered the question in our own way from our mind. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, all of these can either be a liability, can either be an asset. Mommy said this car is too flashy for public consumption. All right. Do you know that you can put it on Uber or you can do a higher service?
Exactly.
There are some companies that have Hummer Jeep as transportation for tourists or people who they move from one place to the other. There are some persons that have helicopter. So you can use that. Okay, you can use that to
Mercedes as taxi
to make that happen. I recently bought a car last year. My brother just said, "Oh, we should use that car for to lease for a company that needs cars like that." So I bought the specification and I gave it out. So I mean, that car is an asset for me because it's generating income on a monthly basis for me, while I have my ML 350 to make my business smooth. So it can be a liability, it can be an asset. It depends on how you look at it. Now, this home too also can be an asset, can be a liability. Okay, it depends on how you look at it. I want to use an analogy to just buttress this asset and liability thing. There's this video that we posted on our groups of a child that asked the father, "How valuable am I?" I don't know if that's the right question he asked, but I think it's like that. Then the father now used an analogy to make the boy understand how valuable he is. What did he do? He gave the boy a stone that he should go and sell it and all. And then as he was selling it, he went to a marketplace. As he was selling the stone, somebody offered to buy. They now asked him, "How much is it?" The father told him not to say a word, but point his two fingers. He raised his finger up and pressed it like this. Two. Then the person now said, "Okay, I'm going to buy it for $20." He now came back to the dad and said, "Wow, that somebody wanted to buy the stone." And then he told the dad that it was going for $20. The dad now said, "Okay, now go to the supermarket, or I think yeah, the supermarket. I can't really get that story hook, line, and sinker. But the boy went to another place, better off than the previous one. And he did the same thing. They asked him, he raised his hand again, he didn't say a word, and the person offered to pay $200. Then came back with so much excitement that, wow, daddy, they offered to pay $200. And then the dad was happy too, and he said, now, this is what you're going to do. Take this stone to a museum and go and sell it to the guy in charge of that museum. So when the museum man saw it, he said, wow, this is a precious stone. He analyzed it. I said, how much does this go? Are you going to sell it? Then young boy still raised his hand. Two, as in, he didn't say a word, he just raised the two fingers up. And guess what? The man said, I am going to pay $200,000 or is it $20,000? And the guy was so excited. Okay. Now it depends on where you take your opportunity to. It depends on where you take your opportunity, or it depends on how you price whatever you have. This house can be highly priced. It depends on who is the buyer. Okay. So something you have can be an asset and it can also be a liability. I hope you get that analogy. So whatever you're taking your opportunity to depends on how much they will price it. So I hope that makes a lot of sense. It is one thing to share your opportunity, is another to also, consider the direction at which you're placing it. Thank you. If you love what I just analyzed, you can give me some emojis. I want to see some emojis, a thumbs up or a clap or whatever. If you really love what I just said. I'm not seeing any emoji. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I told you I wanted to be energized now. All right. Thank you very much. So moving forward, what does the next slide tells us? Sorry, I have to go back. Yeah. Now, this is a short video of the cash flow. I may not be able to play it because it is not active. So I will just move forward. I will get that video and then I'll post it on the group chat so that you can see. Now, these are some definitions of the cash flow. We are familiar with cash and we are familiar with flow, but the word together actually means differently. So let us x-ray each of the definitions together. You may feel free to screenshot so that you can remind yourself after this presentation. So you're able to get and grab this training so you can use it to help yourself making your decisions as we move on. Now, cash flow is a net amount. Somebody's mic is unmuted. Can you mute it, please? Our co-host, please, can you help out? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Now, cash flow is a net amount of cash and cash equivalents being transferred into and out of a business. This is one definition. Okay. When you bring in money and money goes out, it is one definition of cash flow. Cash flow, which is CF for short, is an increase or decrease in the amount of money a business, institution, or individual has. Okay, some people feel the money you have is your cash flow. Now, in finance, the term is used to describe the amount of cash, that is currency, that is generated or consumed in a given time period. This is according to corporatefinancinstitute.com. So these are some definitions. Moving forward, we're going to be seeing other definitions. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's continue. Now, let's get into this. This is how the cash flow quadrant is. The cash flow quadrant has 4 sides, having some letters that represents something, okay? And the ESBI actually means something. So what does each of these letter mean? Some people will say E for elephant, S for snake, B for boy, I for inside.
Indomie. I for Indomie.
Yeah, it depends on what you think. Now, let us x-ray each of them. You can see the analysis, what the I stands for. That picture depicts something that has to do with investment, having so many things that you're doing. Okay, that you're sending your money to do. All right. Now, the B, you can see that business, that chatting communication can actually build, and then the small business also, that is its own representative. And of course, the employee looks like an entrance to an enclosed box. Okay. All right. So let's x-ray that. E actually stands for employee. S for small business or self-employed. B for big business. And I for investor. This is another way you can understand it. While on the left-hand side, you have the ES, which Robert Kiyosaki calls it the poor dad mentality. The B and I is on the right side, and he calls it the rich dad mentality. Okay, so some persons will rather teach to be an employee or to be a small-scale personality, while some would want to teach you to play big and to become an investor. Okay, now reason why we need to understand this is most people rely so much on the four walls of the university or the educational sector. This actually makes you to either fall into being an employee and self-employed. Okay, some employee would want to move to self-employed because they want to be independent. It depends on the kind of idea they have. Now, we've been taught to go to school, get a good grade, get a good job, and most often than not, we are actually not maximizing all the possibilities that ordinarily we should. So, this is it. Sorry, let me take this slide down so that I can see. Yeah. So this was a shocker for me. That is what Robert Kiyosaki said. He said, on this side, you have more people who have not attained freedom. And as such, they are poor eventually. And on the right side, people on the right side, they experience abundance, freedom in terms of finance and in terms of time as well. So he's trying to still x-ray this to make you understand. Okay, so let's look at this. Let us break this further. This is the mindset of people in different quadrants. The employees are made up of people. Okay, small businesses think for themselves. Okay, then big businesses, they think for so many people. And investors is like those who have a portfolio. All right. So let's x-ray the E quadrants. Those who are in the E quadrant are called the employees. So his rich dad said, in the business world, there are E's, and E stands for employee. And the employees, you can always tell who they are by their core values. Okay, the way they think is quite different from the others in the other quadrants. An employee with the president, the generator of the company, will always say the same word. The words are, I am looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. That's what makes them employees, because their core value is security. Most people who would not want to venture into other things, they feel that if they do it, they're going to fail. They would rather want to be dependent on something or a company or owned by somebody or by a corporate organization. They would rather want to remain there because of fear. So security is their number one priority. So I want to ask a question here. Now, which of them do you think is ranked tall? Plan to be secured, plan to be comfortable, and plan to be rich. If you have your answer with you, can you go to the chat and put your answer there? Which one would you prefer? Plan to be rich, plan to be comfortable, plan to be secured. I would like to start seeing some chats already. Just go to the chat and express yourself. Plan to be rich. Which one do you think stands tall? Okay. Now, okay, I can see some of us have started typing in. I would like to get a thought from just one person. If you want to share your view, your thoughts, can you probably unmute yourself, our co-host? If you can raise your hand so that our co-host can unmute you. I'd like to hear from you. Plan to be rich, plan to be secured, plan to be comfortable. Which do you think is the best? Our co-host, are you there? Hello, Prof, are you there? Are there any other co-hosts? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, someone we can hear you. Sorry.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you. So, does anybody want to share? If you want to share, can you raise your hand up? Our co-host is going to allow you to speak. I can see Alaja Shekina.
Lawan.
Okay, Alaja Shekina Lawan. Can I hear your thoughts? Which do you think is ranked tall? Plan to be rich, plan to be secured, plan to be comfortable. Which do you think ranks tall? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm noisy, but I think once you are rich, you can always provide all the other two. Okay. You can provide your comfort and you can provide security for yourself.
All right, let's give us some reaction. Give us some reaction, huh? All right, I don't need to ask any other person. I want to believe that's your answer. If that's not your answer, I think you should consider that as well. That is exactly what it is. Okay, plans to be rich actually allows you to have every other thing. Yeah, like some people say, no, I don't want to be rich. Oh, I'm just comfortable. There are some people that comes up with such kind of ideology. Little do they know that they are just not right. Okay, so plan to be rich. Now let's move on. Thank you so much, Alaja Shakina. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I appreciate you. Now moving forward, more explanation on the employee, because we really need to understand. Because look, we can't hide away from this. It's either we are employed, we are employees, or we have team members who are employees. We should know how to nurture our team, and having this knowledge will help us greatly. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad for an employee to still be working, but at least have a plan B, have a part-time, something that gives you more than you're being an employee. Okay, all right. So an employee has a job, no doubt, and this is where most earn their income. The job itself is owned by a business, which could be a single person or a large corporate organization. Okay. Now, the employee gives his or her time, energy, and skill to an employer in exchange for a paycheck and benefits. Okay. What he gets is just that paycheck and benefits. All right. Employees can make a little or a lot of money, but when an employee stops working or when the business stops, their income stops too. Okay? When the business stops, you can't really control it. In fact, sometimes when I look at this analogy, I compare it with the Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme, they allow you to enjoy, and before you know it, they will just pack up. Okay, so there are some kind of similarities with it. All right, so this long-term lack of control over income is the primary problem of the E-quadrant. And it's true. Most of us spend our best years as employees. Okay, and at the end, when we stop working, it becomes a very big problem for us in terms of finance when we have already expended our energy. So an employee's financial destiny, security, and freedom is dependent upon the whim and the success of their employer. Okay, so you need to really look at this closely and see the pros and cons. Then you can now start taking further decisions so you are not caught up in that web. Okay, all right. Now, this is some tips that you can just take note of while we are in this. Who are the employees? One, they're a 9-to-5 job. Okay, that 9-to-5 job destroys your most precious assets and time. I'm sure you agree with me on that. Number two, you constantly worry about losing your job. You probably don't enjoy what you're doing, but you're happy with the fact that you're still there and you're getting some paychecks. But there's this fear in you that you don't want to lose your job. You don't want to lose your job. So you're not really, maximizing that freedom that you ought to have. Okay? You will never get rich as an employee or retire early by a 9-to-5 job, which is the truth. The only way you can get rich is when you steal from your boss, when you do some shady things. But so long as you are relying on that, you're not doing anything else. You're only expecting paycheck at the end of the month. Or it depends. Some people, they pay them weekly and all. You can't get rich. You heard, I asked the question, plan to be rich, plan to be comfortable, plan to be secured. The one that ranks tall is being rich. And as an employee, you can't be. You can't be. Okay? So job hierarchy causes unnecessary stress. It does. There's competition everywhere. Let's say you went into your job as a graduate and there are some positions that requires you to upgrade your educational qualifications. You want to go back to school and do your master's or do some professional qualifications to be able to earn that one position that a lot of people are competing to get. So there's a lot of competitions, that are unnecessary and to give you stress. A 9-to-5 job is bad for your physical health. I remember when I was working, because I once worked before, I've actually passed through this cash flow quadrant somehow. When I graduated, I immediately got a job and I live many hours away from my place of work. I know I have to wake up very early in the morning and my time for waking up is 4 a.m. And I must hit the bus stop. I don't have a car. I must hit the bus stop to meet the vehicle that is going to Victoria Island from Idimu. If I meet that vehicle and I start cutting entering different buses to get to my office, get to the office around 9 earliest. But if I get to the bus stop around 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll be able to meet those buses that are trying to beat the traffic to get to Victoria Island very early. So I get to Victoria Island around 6 o'clock in the morning. I know I have to catch up with some sleep because I barely even slept. So I have a special duvet in my office. I'll just spread this duvet and sleep off until around 7:45. Getting close to when 8 o'clock was supposed to start work. I'll now start applying my makeup and all that. And I would stay in my place of work because I'm the information technology manager. I'm the one that is expected to leave the office after everyone has left because I'm the one that must shut down the server. So if my MD comes at will and he chooses to leave the office around 7 o'clock, I'm at his mercy. I have to stay and shut down at that time and start commuting down home. And I remember my dinner used to be gala and lacasera. It wasn't funny at all. That is why I had this challenge of this health issue. I don't defecate the way other human beings are defecating. So that has been my challenge. And I knew it was going to affect my health. So 9-to-5 jobs is bad for those who are running it, especially those who need to commute a long distance would also agree with what I've just shared with you. There are so many people that are into this. So I'm so happy that I'm at home, zooming in. This is my office now. I do everything. I'm comfortable. Okay, because of the decision I've taken not to go back to the 9 to 5. Now, 9 to 5 job is impotent to create residual income. It is. I recently, went into a training, an international training, and the first lecture they gave to us when we started on the 23rd of December was, they asked everybody, how many of you are doing this network marketing part-time? And so many people, they raised their hand up. I didn't know why they were asking that question. And then he said, if you're going to run this training for 1 year, you need to give up your job or else you don't have time for this training. It means that you're wasting your money, your hard-earned money, because the cost can be as expensive as 11,000 US dollars. So I started appreciating the decision I took by not doing this 9 to 5. I'm not trying to scare anyone who is doing 9 to 5. I'm not trying to scare. I know you wish to have your own business and have your freedom, because I know you're not enjoying what you're doing. Okay, now, it's good for us to x-ray all of this to be able to appreciate where we are and really take this seriously. The network marketing industry is a very glorious one. It is not for those who probably don't have a job or let me just use the word, who are jobless or who just want to come out, want to share flyers and all. It's a profession on its own, it's a career. It is a career. Okay, so moving forward, number 7 says, it's a 9 to 5 job, okay? Severely restricts your mobility. It does. Most people, I remember when my husband was telling somebody a story of how he left his job when we had a church program. In December, we used to have a church program, and that's the one we really, really hold in activities that happens around December. So he was still working, and he has been missing that program year in, year out, because he has already mortgaged his time. So that year he said, this time around, I'm going to go. So we have all gone, and he carried his traveling bag, took it to the security. You can imagine such kind of attitude. He took his traveling bag to the security post, dropped it there, and he said he's going to come back and pick it up. He went in to show his face, play a little bit, and went back because his business actually it's a field work, requires him to go and meet his clients and all. So that was his saving grace. So while he was leaving, there was no excuse. He just said, I'm going to meet my clients. He picked his traveling bag and he has found himself in Delta State in Warri, where we are holding the program. So he didn't come back that evening again, back to work. The next morning, he didn't come, so they put a call through to him. What happened? We didn't see you, blah, blah, blah. Guess what he said? He said he had running stomach. Oh my God. So you can just imagine. And he never liked the fact that he told a lie. See, these are some of the reasons why my husband actually made a decision. I said, no, enough is enough. I don't have my time. So it will restrict your mobility. And so many of us that have worked before, you share the same view. For those who hate to lie, we don't want to find ourselves in this kind of thing for many years. How many years you keep lying and lying? Some will even say, my child is sick. Use sickness to lie. So many things. Let me not say too much. We all know. I don't know if I ask you to share your thoughts. You say so many crazy things. Okay? And what have you? And then a 9 to 5 job prevents you to speak your mind. It prevents you to speak your mind because you're scared to lose your job. If your guy is even saying some rubbish or nasty things, you want to just keep quiet, because once you start, when your guy sees that you're becoming like a boss, hey, they will now they will employ somebody for you to shadow you. So not knowing that they are trying to replace you, because they said you cannot have more than one boss here. It happened to me. When I was working, they brought in one guy that read chemistry. And then they were restructuring the company. So they couldn't lay me off because I'm the owner of the password to the server. The time they were asking me to bring the password of that server, I said, no, I'm sorry. I want to know my fate in this company. I'm not going to release it. So when they saw that I wasn't going to release it, they now brought in one guy that read chemistry that has not even worked anywhere before, just came out from NYC and started shadowing me. So I taught him how to work with the workstations and the computer systems and the rest. I never allowed him to come to the server because I knew what they were trying to do. As a sharp worry girl, I didn't allow that to happen because everybody I was working with, including all my orgas before I was working with, they laid them off. I was the only one, and I can't remember how. And then the low officers that stayed back. So I became kind of like a strange person. So I became scared. I had to gather thick skin. So whatever they were doing, I was guarding myself until I left. Until that company crashed. Until that company crashed. They could not lay me off. They were looking for ways. They could not lay me off. Maybe if there was CCTV, they would have seen that where I was putting the password. But I didn't allow that to happen. So a 9 to 5 prevents you to speak your mind. And that is why so many people are scared to maximize their opportunities. And I also observed one thing, that those people who are working now, they feel they don't want to give their all because they're not satisfied with what they get. They're not satisfied with what they get. I mean, how would you feel when you're not maximizing all your possibilities? You know, so you need to be in an environment where you can explore, you know. So this is what a job can do for you. You have to put up with office politics. There are so many office politics. There are sometimes that tribalism could come in because you don't have much of people that speak the same language with you. You are kind of isolated and all. You're so unhappy. You know, job stability is a thing of the past. When you are in a job, there's so many things you can go on and on to talk about this. Let me not dwell too much on the E quadrants. So here there are no leverage. Notice the word leverage because you're going to be seeing it afterwards. Now let's talk about the S quadrant. The X quadrant is called the small business owners. These are the people that are on the S quadrant. Yeah, and basically they are self-employed, and again their core value will cause them to use the same word which are, if you want it done right, do it by yourself. Do it by yourself. Most people who are employees would like to be in this quadrant because they don't want to be bossed around. Okay, but that is not all. So S means they are all solo. If things need to be done right, it needs to come from them. If they need to make massive success, it must come from them because they believe in this solo attitude. So generally, generally one person acts, they operate by themselves. Okay, so this is the S quadrant. Okay, now moving forward, we have other explanation about the small business owners. Okay, so many employees get tired of their lack of control and choose to work for themselves. Self-employed still work, but they own their job. You are the owner of that job, and that job must produce results. If it doesn't produce results, you made it so. If it produces results, you made it so. The S quadrant includes dentists, insurance agents, restaurant owners, realtors, handymen, and many other trade workers. Many self-employed people earn very large income, but like the employees, when they stop working, so does their income. Now, I want you to understand this flow. Okay, we're talking about the cash flow. Okay, the small business is also affected when they stop. Their income also terminates. Self-employed people do have a lot more control than employees, quite all right. But that also means that they have more responsibilities. As a result, success really means working harder and working longer. Okay, so they really don't have time. Over the long run, this can lead to burnout, fatigue. And this is not why you actually branched out to own a small business. You want to make more money, but at the same time, is it affecting the other parts? You need to consider. Now, these are some list of things that we need to know about the small business owners. Competition is common. There are competitions everywhere if you're a small business owner, because you see one person doing one thing or the other that you are doing. So for you to actually break even, it's the competition is very, very tight. You need to really do something differently that others are not doing, okay, so that you can be able to break even. You virtually still handle every department, okay? No time, which is obvious. You are breeding competitors. There are some kind of small business owners who breed competitors, like having apprentice, and when they get their freedom, of course, somebody who probably learned how to sell mattresses, like maybe Vitafoam, from his oga. When he wants to get freedom, that it is what he or she knows that he will practice. Don't pray that the person owns a shop some few meters away from your shop. Guess what? It is your customer that will first be his client. So when you are in a small business, you'll be breeding competitors. More businesses sadly fail between 3 to 5 years. In Okwebi, where our office is in Lagos, I remember there was this shop that they sell jewelries and stuff like that when we first started this business. Afterwards, they said they are relocated. Most businesses relocate back to their houses, while some stop and start doing something else. Then some genuinely relocate because they have been able to break even. But most often than not, you see some of them going down. All of a sudden, we saw another one that has a food business. In fact, you can hardly ever see anybody going into that shop to buy food.
So
very,
Mama,
very
the manager is there with us of that first one that sell.
Are you kidding me? You can see this is the reality about life. If I allow that person to speak now, he will talk from experience. Okay, so let me just allow this to flow. Now that restaurant, you hardly ever see people go in. But guess what? If you go to Okwebi office right now, you won't see that restaurant again. They have gone. Of course, it's so obvious that customers are not coming in. Okay, so most businesses sadly fail between 3 to 5 years. So if your business is able to stabilize in 5 years, you're good to go. All right. No vacation. Don't have time because you want the income to continue to flow. If you go on vacation, sorry, something might go wrong. Let's say if you have somebody you employ that will be selling, maybe you have a boutique. Somebody is helping you to sell in the boutique. Trust me, when you come back, your shop might be very, very scanty. Very, very scanty. I remember a story about, sorry, I'm not trying to be tribalistic. After all, my tribe, I'm also talking about my tribe. A Yoruba, an Igbo man and a Wari guy, they partnered together and did a business. And gradually things are getting better and better. Then all of a sudden, they started outsmarting themselves. So the Igbo man was not giving the right true value of the sales. So when the Robo man started seeing that something is going wrong, all of a sudden he went in the night and packed the remaining goods and locked the shop. So when the Igbo man now opened the shop and saw the whole place, it was only his voice he can hear. You now asked him, what happened? He said, you were telling me that there's no sales, right? And the thing was getting empty. So let me just come and pack the rest, and that was it. So small businesses can be very, very tasking and all. Competitions here and there, and people are not really truthful, with the way they go about it, especially partnership and all. So government policies can also hit, import ban and stuff like that. I remember somebody who took a loan. The guy took a loan. He wanted to import frozen chicken from Cotonou, from Nigeria. So they gave him a loan because he has been able to pay concurrently in other loans. So he ventured into this poultry business, and his goods were seized. It took a long time before he was able to break even. They had to write off the loan. But if you ask me, he wasn't himself anymore. So these are some of the backbreaking challenges that you face when you're in a small business. Capitals to start is very huge. Most times it's very, very huge. Okay, and the loans dominate. From my husband, who was working in a bank where they give loans, he used to tell me how difficult it is for clients to pay their loans. Very, very difficult. So some loans, in fact, it's better not taking than to take it and pass through all these hurdles. And he even told me, he said, microfinance banks, they make a lot of money out of it. So if you are not able to manage that loan very well to be able to break even, it's very, very difficult for you, your small business, to survive. Seeing cash creates a false of wealth. I laugh. Some persons, they do a lot of sales. They decide to venture into some kind of businesses that brings in money often. Like maybe you have a supermarket, you sell groceries, you see people come here, buy Milo, buy milk, sugar, and stuff like that. Every day, you always sell. You see money every day. You think that is your wealth. Nada. Most people who venture into all these businesses can hardly count their capital back in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I take myself as an example. That is why I said you're in the right direction. When I came into Phytoscience, I had nothing. To start, the capital was not there. I did what I could, and I plunged in. Under 41 days, I made my capital, and I made 200% return on investment. Are you asking me if that's a good business? The answer is absolutely yes. What kind of business are you going to do? Doing the needful and getting your capital back. So, small business, for me, is a no-no to remain. You can learn some things from there, or you need to move on. Okay? Now, number 10, no leverage. No leverage. Small business also is geographically confined. It is not here, but I have to just say this. If you're doing a business and it requires only people around you to patronize you, then you're playing small. You're playing small. Even the Bible talks about you dominating the earth. So whatever you're doing, try and consider what will dominate the earth. Okay? Be in that presence. So if your business is not online, you need to start looking at how your business can be online. I did talk about it in my intro. The world is actually going virtual. You need to consider, you need to learn it. Don't be too, no one is too old to learn. Okay? So learn that, and then before you know it, your business is going to be online. So here you're not leveraging enough. Most often than not, you're doing everything by yourself, or you probably maybe have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 staff. That is not good enough. But Kiyosaki says, for you to be in a big business, you need to leverage about 500 people and above. 500 people and above. So whatever you're doing, ask yourself, do you have up to 500? If you don't have, don't call yourself rich. You might have all the resources in the world. Like Prof used to post one picture about a guy that has so many ladders and he wants to cross the other way. But he doesn't know. He doesn't know he has a lot of resources. So some people have a lot of resources. You have a lot of money with you. That is not rich. That is not riches at all. Okay? Being able to send that money on an errand will give you an edge. Now, Entrepreneurs believe that profit is what matters most in a new enterprise. Because you started something new, okay, and you think, okay, what I'm going to get next is to make profit. But profit is secondary. I want you to note that now. You can feel free to screenshot this. Cash flow matters most. Keep telling yourself, cash flow matters most. You can even put a pictorial frame somewhere very conspicuous in your house and put this phrase. I mean, reminding yourself, because sometimes our brain will remember things so easily. So cash flow matters most. How much is your cash flowing is what you should ask yourself. This is another one. Okay, it says, we were always focused on our profit and loss statements. Prof talked about the accounting point of view and the rest of it. But Prof is not only analyzing finance in an accounting view anymore. Else, he probably wouldn't have gotten where he is right now. Okay, so in accounting view, they used to say that profit statements and loss statements. Let's talk about that. But cash flow was not regularly discussed topic. Okay, it's not a regularly discussed. Sorry, somebody's at my door. I'm so sorry about that. All right. So it was as if we were driving along, watching only the speedometer. Yes, it's like driving, okay, and watching only the speedometer, how well you're able to drive, not knowing that your tank is getting empty. This is just an analogy. You need to really look at this seriously. Okay, now moving forward, this is a statement from Robert Kiyosaki himself. He said, the most important word in the world of money is cash flow. The second most important word is leverage. Okay, so take these two words seriously in your journey in this industry, and keep re-examining yourself if you are employing it and what is the result basically. Okay, so cash flow and leverage is a very, very important word we need to really take cognizance of. Okay, moving forward, we are talking about the big business. The big business, these are those who are really playing big. And what did it say? Those in the big quadrants own a system. They own a system. What do we mean by a system? Something that you have put in place to run autopilot. Can you imagine having a system, a financial system that you don't need to enact too much pressure anymore? Income just keeps flowing. Cash just keeps flowing. Okay? They own a system and lead people. The system and the people who work for the business can run successfully without the business owner's constant involvement. The same type of businesses could be run by 5 owners and by S owners and B owners. For example, a plumber could own a work in his own plumbing business, or a business owner could create a plumbing business and hire quality plumbers, administrators, and a manager to run the system of the plumbing business. Either or. The most important thing is owning a system. Now, the wealthiest individuals in the world typically own businesses. These include Dangote, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, and on and on and on. Now, I just remember something I feel I should share. I learned recently that if you have a team of successful people, don't tell yourself you have a team. You in your subconsciousness, you'll be playing small. Tell yourself you have an organization. Tell yourself you have a business. If you don't have a team, and you want to build a team, don't say you want to build a team. Tell yourself you want to have an organization. Tell yourself you want to own a business. When you start doing that, you see yourself building a business. You see yourself creating a system. Okay? I hope that means well. Thank you very much. So moving forward, lastly, on the right side of the quadrant, we have the investors. The investors own assets that produce income. This is the quadrant for truly passive income. We have active income, we have passive income. Most people, in fact, people on the left side of the quadrant, which is the employees and the small business owners, basically generate active income because it requires their presence. Okay? But big businesses in this quadrant, they create passive income. Now, investors in the quadrant have usually accumulated money earned in one or more of the other three quadrants. Yes. People who are investors have employees. People who are in the investors, they also employ small business owners to do their business, or build their business, to make them own a system. Okay? Like, for example, now, you require, like, let me say you want to buy a property, you require a realtor to get a property, right? That realtor might just be a small business owner. So you are getting everything. Just like the analogy with that question I asked. Plan to be rich, plan to be comfortable, then plan to be secured. As an investor, you can employ every one of those parts of the cash flow. So invariably, you are getting 100%, while employees get only 25%. Small business gets only 50%. That's the way I can break it. Then big business gets 75%. To you, 75% might look like excellent, okay? I remember our when we write the exams and we get 75, they'll give us excellent. Now, it is not excellent in this perspective, because you have only just made money, but you have not sent those money on an errand. Okay, so that's the way I can just describe what an investor truly is. Okay, so let me not say too much about this. Let me just move on. We are tilting towards the end. I'm sure some of us have started packaging ourselves to better maximize this training that we have just had today. So these are the four cash flow quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki. Again, employees, they are typically into employment, okay? And a typical job has its pros and cons. The pros are security, employment prerequisites too. You have opportunity to move from one employer to another, one company to another. Okay, these days, jobs are not even secured. You can see what happened during the COVID-19, how a lot of people lost their jobs. I even have somebody here in my house, she was affected. She just came into my house right now. And when she told me about this, she started becoming very serious about this business. You know, sometimes when negative thing hits you, some persons may get depressed and allow it to overwhelm them. So my advice is, do not allow negative things to overwhelm you. Rather, it should be a propelling force for you to do something better. So you're not caught in that web, in that bandwagon again. Now, I'm giving an analogy now, except maybe otherwise she wants you to see her face. I will not want to mention her name. She's here. I'm talking to her. Okay. She just got fed up and came to me and said, all what people are saying is true. And look at what has happened to her. She was earning XYZ and her salary was slashed by half. As if that is not enough. Because even the XYZ she was earning wasn't taking her home. Before the end of the month, she is broke. Now they have slashed it. What would she do? So she has decided to run this business, and with the little that she has done, fantastic. Now, there are no securities anywhere. I don't need to flog that part. Small, the small business owners or the S quadrants, that they have their own pros and cons. Some want to be independent and they want to do things flexibly. That is why they chose this option. Okay. Reward directly, linked to efforts. They are doing a lot of things and they're not sharing their efforts, the returns with any employer. They're getting it 100%, right? So to them, that's one of the pros. Now the cons is fear of losing independency. That is why they chose this. Trading time for money. Okay. And then transition risk involved. Okay. Now, let's go over to the other side, which is the big business. In the big business, those who are in the big business, they own a system and people work for you. Just like Mike Adenuga, he owns the system. Dangote owns the system, okay? And he employed people to run the business. He doesn't have to be there. Now, the pros are not dependent on your presence, and then they have a lavish lifestyle, okay, once they are successful. The cons required great effort to establish, and then not all good ideas are success. I would like to break this a little bit. I just talked about conventional, or when I say traditional, big businesses. It takes a long time before they are able to break even. The people I mentioned, in fact, like Dangote, before he was able to break even, it took decades. Even though he's the richest man in the world, who is the greatest debtor? I'll leave that for you to answer. Okay? Now, traditional big businesses could have their, pros and cons. Now, coming to the network marketing industry, you can actually create a big business by starting small with low capital. It takes you some time before you know it. You already created a system that is running autopilot. Okay, then if you are able to strategically put structures in place, now people coming in knows their direction, their left from their right. Simple models for them to run the business. In fact, you have a perfect system. Okay, but if you don't have those strategies, it is not perfect yet. You're only leaning on the company for what they have to offer you. But you as an individual should have structures in place in your organization. Like I told you, your team shouldn't be called your team. It should be called an organization. It should be called a business. If you have a business, you are leveraging on the company's platform. You should have a structure that's or strategies that anybody that is coming in can be able to duplicate without your presence, without you being there. They become independent, not depending on you all the time and all. Okay? Then you have a complete system. I don't know if I'm talking to some persons. I, for one, I never had. But like I said, I decided in the month of November last year to do something about that aspect. And I thank God things are moving on smoothly by God's grace. My mentor would say, you don't have to be great, okay, to start. But you have to start to become great. You don't have to be great. Most people are waiting for the right time, the right cash, money to start. Tell yourself this. You don't have to be great to start something. You need to start something to become great. Okay? Thank you very much. So now the I quadrant is another one. Let's x-ray the pros and cons. Okay? These are income generating assets. They send their money on an errand. You cannot wake up one day and say you want to start investing. What are you using to invest? You need to have those resources. You need to be resourceful before you can invest. Okay? So the pros, financial freedom. There's time freedom. These are the people that trade money for money. They send their money on an errand. Okay? These are what the rich do. The rich don't even teach their children to work for money. They make money work for them. Okay? So these are the traits of investors. The cons, risk due, the risk due to volatility. Okay? When they have too many things. Okay, so you need to structure yourself very well before you can really get this right. High capital investments. Now, sometimes investors will fail. I once worked in a stock market, so I know I know how the stock market really played. A lot of people didn't just only lose their money; they lost their health. These people having stroke that didn't even last for 1 week; they are gone. So, as an investor, you need to be very circumspect. You need to be very observant and all. So traditional businesses basically, have some pros and cons and the rest of it. But when you are in the network marketing industry, you are leveraging. You eventually have time freedom. You have financial freedom. Okay. Then you also have something that you cannot really readily afford in the conventional world. Personal development. Then you have a team of people of like minds that you how will I put it now? You earn from each other. You learn from each other. Like my mentor would say, I would rather have having 4 friends, for example, that 4 types of friends. There are some friends that add value to you. There are some that subtract from you. There are some that multiply, and there are some that divide you. Okay? Having this knowledge, you should be able to streamline the kind of friends you should have. Friends could be from your family. Friends could be relatives, people you have around you, and stuff like that. Okay, what are the kind of people that you do business with? What are the kind of people that you spend your time with? Are they the type that add value and multiply? Because these are the kind of people that I chose myself consciously to be able to, surround myself with. Okay, so you need to be conscious of that, very, very conscious, because the only variable between you and your time freedom, financial freedom, personal development, and all is you. Okay, now this is another analogy that we can use to explain the cash flow quadrant. The employees are those who own a job. Some of them tilt towards to become self-employed. Then we also have the small business owners who yearn for moving forward. In fact, this is actually talking about me. I once worked before. While I was working, I observed that I'm not supposed to be there. And thank God, the task force came and sealed up my office. When they sealed up the office, the elephants were the ones that suffered. That was how I stopped working. Maybe I still would have been struggling with that job and my position. So, but when that happened, I came back home. At some point, I wasn't working. I started looking at how I can now service people, small scale business and medium scale business on system issues, system configuration, wireless, sales and supply of technological gadgets, and then also configuration and stuff like that. That was what was in my mind that I want to do. I set up a company called 7 Cubes. I started doing that. My clients were clients in Victoria Island because that was where my business environment were. It wasn't really easy navigating, but the painful part of it is working and not not giving me my check as at when due. I started getting upset. So later on, because of my anger and the fact that I needed something better, I stumbled into the network marketing industry in 2011. That was the first time. When I plunged into the network marketing, I felt I've been wasting my years. Then I think I was 30 something anyway. I started burying my head, started reading books that would help me understand the industry. I started reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Business of the 21st Century, The Business School, One Who Wanted to Be Rich, and so many other books that were, around it. And I got better. So I'd already gotten from employee to small business. I failed, and I went into the network marketing industry that taught me how to become a big business owner. From there, I spent 5 years, and that 5 years, personal development was second to none. I learned a lot of things. Each time when I'm learning new things, I weep, I cry. And I'm going to spend 4 years in the 4 walls of the university, and I got nothing. So thank God I'm in this industry, and I'm happy getting this information. Today, if you ask me if I'm building a system, I'll tell you yes. Because I started building a residual income stream, an income stream that you continue to have long after you're stopped working. And that is what everybody wishes to have by being in a big business, by creating a system. Okay? And have I made any attempt to invest? The answer is yes. When I started this business, I started making some money. I was so excited. What I did was investing in people. Some were people who were just prospects. I made it simpler for them to be able to find their bearing in Phytoscience as my business partners. Then I also made some funds available to be able to support my team. I did that for quite some time. And I was happy at that investment because it was something that actually solidified and built a foundation for me. And then afterwards, I started thinking, at least I should have some physical things that shows that this business is really working. I started looking at getting some assets. Have I actually achieved much on that area? I would say yes. And then in November, I now discovered another way I can invest. Sometimes we used to jettison that. It's likened to the attitude, the behavior we have with our food intake. Most times we don't consider what we eat as essential compared to the way we dress, our appearance. Sometimes the weave-on we wear is even more expensive than the food that goes into our mouth. It's just setting some kind of priorities, upside down. When I discovered this new idea of investment, I was so happy. I had long neglected that, but I'm happy I've started finding my bearing towards it. And I'm happy every day what I am getting in increasing my knowledge bank because it is very, very important. So have I been investing? The answer is yes. So I want to say, in my own little way, I have passed through this quadrant so I can say for sure, give one or two advice about the cash flow. I can see somebody's drawing. I hope it's not a small child. Or I hope it's a small child, not an adult. Else I would want to say that person is not enjoying the training already. Now, let's look at this. It's a question. I've been able to x-ray the cash flow for each and every one of us, including myself. Which quadrant represents you? You need to tell yourself the truth. Which quadrant represents you? If you don't mind, share your thoughts. Share your thoughts. Say it the way it is. If you don't like it the way it is, find a way around it to be able to change. Which quadrant do you represent? Type that quadrant you represent right now on the chat. Just type it on the chat. Type it on the chat. Which quadrant do you represent? Do you represent the E quadrant, Do you represent the S quadrant? Do you represent the B quadrant? Or are you already in the I quadrant? Now, suffice you to know, thank you. I can see some typings. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Now, you see, you need to purge out some things in your mind to be able to accommodate those things that are valuable. There are some people, fear is occupying their mind. There are some persons, anger is occupying their mind. There are some persons, pain is occupying some parts of their mind. There are some persons, too many responsibilities is occupying their mind. Some persons are already overwhelmed. You need to start purging out that part so that you can accommodate some new ideas to come in. It's like ideas rule the world, okay? Now, which quadrant, I'm repeating it again, in case some of us have not done that, or probably maybe you're not too sure what you're supposed to type. Which quadrant do you represent? Or which quadrant represents you? You need to. Now, I want to shock you on something. Are you in Phytoscience? And you feel, oh, I'm doing it full time. Are you one of those who rely on selling of products? Are you one of those who rely on selling of products? Can I tell you the quadrants you belong to? You are in the S quadrant. I didn't mention any name. If you are in that category of trend ambassadors who rely on selling of products alone, you are in the S quadrant. You love the product so much. You love recommending the product so much. You love to register people to buy the products, okay? You don't have an organization. You don't have a business. You are in the S quadrant, okay? Now, where do you earn the most of your income? That is where you belong. So you are the type that sell, that may supply, like to dispatch products a lot. You're not building a business. You need to start having a rethink so that you can leverage. You see, Rabbi Kisaki said the two most important word is cash flow and leverage. Okay, cash flow and leverage. If you're only selling, you may just think you have just cash flow. You are not probably having the cash flow enough. Thank you so much. I can see a lot of people put in the chat. Okay, what about your spouse? What about your spouse? Are you a man here? And you're doing the business alone? You feel you don't want to bother your wife about it. If your wife does not believe in what you're doing, there's going to be some setback. Trust me. Or are you a woman? You're married, and your husband doesn't know what you're doing, or doesn't understand what you're doing, or doesn't support you. There's probably going to be some setbacks. I'm not saying it because I have. I'm just telling you a real life scenario. What is obtainable and what is better. Now, which part of the cash flow quadrant would you like to move to first? Which part? Would you rather remain as an employee? Would you want to remain as an employee? There are some persons, they would rather want to be there. Would you rather want to be a small business owner, or you want to move to the right side of life and start playing big? Okay, so I would love to hear from you. I'm sure we're already putting up some chats. I want to say very big thank you as you put up that chat. So this, you really need to tell yourself the truth. It is not about where you are that matters now, but where you want to be. The only constant thing in life is change. Okay, so don't feel that, oh, because you're already in phytoscience, or all your problems is solved. No, you don't do something about the opportunity. You don't do something about your personal development. If you don't increase your knowledge bank, trust me, you might just be in one place. I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us. This is the end of my presentation. I say thank you. If you love what you've just heard, you can send some emojis. You can send some emojis to appreciate the presentation. I can see the Bolu. I can see the Bolu. Yes, I've taken the whole of your time. I'm really very sorry. That's the cons of being passionate. I'm so sorry about that.
Well spent.
I'm not seeing full screen reaction though. I'm not seeing full screen reaction.
No, I don't want to remind them.
I'm not saying you should say that to me. I want you to tell yourself you appreciate this presentation. It means well to you. That is why you're giving this emoji. You're giving the emojis to yourself, because you love yourself. You're the most important person in this Zoom right now. Okay? Thank you very much. When I thought of this presentation, I wept. I cried. And that feeling actually propelled me to start taking some giant stride. So I hope it's the same thing that happened to you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, the host, for giving me this privilege. Thank you, Phytoscience. Thank you, Mr. Jide and Mr. Bismarck. I really appreciate you. You have been a wonderful, wonderful mentor to us. Let's set the ball rolling in this 2021, so that at the end of 2021 December, we'll all come up with our story, our success stories, and be happy at the trend at which we have, are tilting towards. God bless you. I appreciate you. One love.
One love. Amazing. Wow. This is cool. I think I need to hear from great leaders here about this training. I just go to the chat room, start putting your comment there. Any name you can call her. Daughter cell, mother cell, child lady cell, just continue. Softy mama, area, just continue putting it there. Crown diamond, just right on. It's amazing. Wow. Honestly speaking, Softmind nailed it, okay? Let me hear from our daddy in the house, Money IQ. Babao. Money IQ. Yes, Babao, the director of currency.
I'm very sorry. I was actually on the wheel.
I know,
but I was listening to everything, and I want to say a very big thank you to our leader, the Black Diamond.
On your way to South Korea or from South Korea?
Anyway, I'm just on the highway traveling back to Lagos. Yeah. But by the grace of God, I was able to, start the meeting, and I was listening. Despite that, I'm on the wheel. So I want to say a very big thank you to Madam Softmind for that wonderful training. Wow. God bless you. We really enjoyed it, and we need more of that. And that will really help us to build our business. Wow. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We wish you safe journey. Thank you, and more PSP. Yo, okay, Mommy Flacon from UK. Great leader. Mommy Evangelist Flacon from UK. Can we have you, Mom?
Hello, sir. Good evening. My God, it's wonderful today. Wonderful. My God. I'm sorry my hair is not done, but I'm looking good.
Good.
Oh, good Baba Abdul Iragbe, Softmind Mama. My God, I've been on the platform since we started. Thank you. Thank you again. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. Softmind, thank you. Most of the things that I was sitting down and thinking, how do we have to break through? How do we do this? How do we establish? What are we doing? What is this? What is that? Seriously, you have opened it up. You opened it up. You nailed it. And thank you for letting us know that all these even cars, even houses, they are assets. Thank you for everything. Starting business, owning business, moving forward. All that is with Dangote and all these people that have made it already. Thank you for opening us to having wealth, establishing wealth. That is what you've taught us today, Softmind. Establishing, starting, building your own wealth. Something that you can leave for children. I really appreciate it. You open my eyes. You really, really do. Thank you. And I was in my heart. Where are my UK people? Where I looked, I went straight to the participants and I saw some of us there. I knew I don't have to bother anymore. We all had it already. Thank you very much. Your platform, Pastor Eragbe. Your platform will never be capsized in the name of Jesus Christ. It's a boat. It's Noah's Ark. It will never turn upside down. You will move from glory to glory, from glory to glory. You will be established. Thank you very much.
Wow. Please, can we give a full screen reaction to Mommy? Mommy Flickon. Wow, it's amazing. That is our powerful Mommy. All the way from UK. I can see only glad I see a lot of UK, God favor, and a lot. Yeah. It's amazing. Wow. The training is second to none. All right. Okay, I think without further ado, let me welcome our great leader here this morning, so that it's morning, because maybe from your time, maybe evening and in the afternoon or night. But here, it's money. You know, we are officer all the time. Money, monster. So let me welcome our daddy, Mr. Jide. Our daddy in the house, Mr. Jide Olaoke.
Good morning.
Morning to you, great daddy.
How are you, sir? We really appreciate we really appreciate your leadership this morning. And believe me, today's training is amazing. I really appreciate what our great leader has done today. We really appreciate your training. And believe me, you have really opened our eyes to see so many things today. And I believe that's the reason why you are a black diamond. Based on what Softmind have dished out today, I think every one of us, we should be able to pick one or two things there, which I believe in our daily life, it will help us to grow more. It will help us to grow more. And believe me, this is what I believe that we need at this time. We need it at this time, especially at the beginning of the year like this, so that we will be able to make our mission and vision, we'll be able to, to make them straight, so that at least at the end of the day, we'll be able to, put things right in even in our business and in our earnings, we'll be able to put things right. Now, when you look at network marketing, it may not be our dream, but it can fund our dream. The business we find ourselves today, many of us in this group, you say sometimes we see network marketing as a business for group set of people. But today you realize that we begin to have airlight. We begin to have airlight in network marketing business today. When we are having airlight in the system, automatically we need to begin to look at how we can, make our money to work for us. The most important thing in every business we are doing is to see how we can begin to send our money on errand, and that's what Mama has taught us today. So once again, I really want to, appreciate your leadership. I'm talking of the Softmind for this wonderful training today. And believe me, you have really opened our eyes today, so that at least we, in such a way that we see that is an information that will bless us before where we are today. So I really want to appreciate everyone. And also to all our members, both in Nigeria and outside the country. Very soon you might be seeing some little changes on the website. Don't Just believe that we are expecting some updates on the website, and we're expecting some information, which we believe that it will make the business more better, and member will earn more this year. So once again, I really want to appreciate the entire team for giving me this opportunity to share today with every one of us. We really want to appreciate. And as I said the last time, if you are having any challenges, please let us know on time. Make sure that you communicate with all your leaders. Let us know any area where you are facing challenges. Let us know so that we can see how we can quickly address the issue, and which I believe that it will not disturb your business for this year. So let us know if you have any issue on ground. Please let us know so that we can see how we can help you out. So thank you, the prof. I really appreciate the time you have given me today. Thank you, sir.
Wow. Amazing. Please, can we give our crown president a round of applause? So let's give him reaction. That is someone that God used to really plant stem cell in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. Plant, oh, yes. I call her the father cell, as you call it, Softy Mama, the mother cell.
God is our strength.
God bless you, sir, for your leadership. Sincerely speaking, it's amazing. Time is really fast spent. So don't forget to invite as many as you can. Monday, 8 p.m. for presentations. Invite your guests. Sincerely speaking, it's going to be wow. We want to really be time cautious this year because time is money. And one of our great leaders said that time is life. When you waste your time, you waste your life. And when you look at the work clock continue just working. You always move around. Guess what? It's doing its own work. If you continue to be looking at that clock, believe me, the time is going and it's doing its own work. You go and do your own work. God will help us. So we appreciate you for being here this morning, honestly speaking. And without further ado, let's go back to attend all our stuff, our individual meetings and others. Follow up is another very powerful one. Let me quickly share this before we end the meeting, because no matter what, action is actually what separates the best from the rest. We all remember CEO always keep measuring contact list. Contact list is very, very important. This is my contact list this year. Look at it very well, very voluminous. So the thickest and the biggest notes. So it's what I'm using now for my contact list this year, 2021. So please, you can see it. I've started already. So please write down the names. Something came to my mind yesterday. Believe me, before I started Phytoscience, I wrote out 50 names, 50 names, people that I want to introduce this business to. Let me quickly share that with us here, because today is leadership training. I think I have the diary here. This is the diary. You can see how it's still hold. Yes, this is the diary that I wrote 15 names. If you do that today, believe me, it's going to work like magic. Somebody can look at the screen very well. You can see the number here. The last number there, you can see it is 50. If someone can see it, let me see reaction. Look at the number 50. Yes, I wrote out the names. Guess what? My purpose of writing that 15 names, because as I was being taught by my mentor, my former company, if you write out 15 names, out of that 50, there is tendency of 5 people to join your business. And pray that out of these 15, guess what? God directs me. Direct the right 5 people that you are going to build your business with. As you can see, number of drawing a contact list. Number 7 is a Softmind. Softmind is a black diamond today. Number 32 is a classic touch. And that classic touch is star 2 today. I want us to look at the power, the amazing power of writing a contact down. Out of all these contacts I wrote down, the 50, 6 people, 6 are in the business. They sign up. Out of the 6, only 1 that dropped. The remaining 5, they are all rank member today. I want us to hear that. Yesterday, as I was searching for something, I saw those contacts. And I called one particular contact that I wrote down. Immediately I called, the person said he has been looking for my number since. He booked an appointment with me yesterday. I don't know if the person is in the house today. And guess what? This person wants to start this business straight away on a bigger form. As we were talking at that point of the meeting, he called one of his brothers to come as well, to come and listen. What am I saying? The 50 contact I wrote down 2016. So write down this year now, my assignment to every one of us here, that if we work with it, if we follow it up, it's going to work. Start writing names down now. Write down 50 names. It's your personal assignment. Write down 50 good names from your phone, from your diaries, from anywhere, from your office, those your friends in other schools before. Write their name from newspaper, anywhere you see phone number that is valid to you, write it out. 50 names. Pray over it that God, 5 at least. If 5 people can see your business, it's going to be a very great one. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And again, let's use social media. Facebook and WhatsApp. Go to Facebook and like people's posts. And everybody that like your post, the person is your prospect. In most cases, we are expecting people to, after liking, they should comment before they should ask you, I'm interested in your business. No, it doesn't work that way. Once they click like, believe me, they are interested in what you post. The next thing is to follow them up. We are going to talk about that, how to use the social media when any of our training come in. It's important. So let's do more. Let's like people post. Let's share people post. Visit the Facebook. Whenever you see somebody post something that is great, just share immediately on your own post. Create something. All this training that Softmind doing, the one that you screenshot today, the one you can just do something. Post to your team member that are not around. Let them learn something. We appreciate you once again because of time. So at this moment, maybe somebody have a question. Maybe one person that the hand is up. Let's just create room for only her to ask before we call it a day. Yeah, no any other person than Favor UK. I can see your hand is up. Maybe you have question or you have comment for us. Yeah, Favor UK. Favor from UK.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, great leader. I was trying to unmute myself.
Okay, so sorry, man.